Welcome to the Tip the Scales podcast, where we discuss running and growing your law firm. I'm your host, Maria Monroy, president and co-founder of LawRank. Today, I am joined by one of my best friends, Jen Gore, and we talked about her new coaching program, mindset, her divorce, and how public she's been about it on social media, how she recently started eating meat. I hope that you guys enjoy this episode. Jen Gore, welcome back.
Hello.
It's been a while.
Too long.
I know, what the fuck? We always try and it doesn't work. And
I'm like the fill-in.
I know you are.
Like if someone can't make it, then you slot me in, and you've had a lot of great people on in the last several months. There's been no time to catch up.
I'm sorry.
Well, we catch up at lunch.
Nonstop, but
this is
catch up
just
on
for
air.
Our audience. Yeah. It's been nice to come back.
Yeah. So let's just get to it. Let's talk about what's new in your life, because you launched a new project that I'm super excited about.
Yeah. So Evergreen Business Coaching, basically a lot of coaching for law firms. But as you know, I've been doing this for almost 2 years, 18 months.
Yeah, but it was always referral only.
It was just word of mouth.
Yeah.
It was actually some people that you work with.
Yeah.
And so people had just started emailing me and saying okay, a lot of people know I'm getting a lot of coaching. And they were like, will you coach me? And especially I think my first coaching client was either Lysandra or Kenny. And they both came to me and were like, they're doing other coaching too, but they're like, I just want to get to your size firm,
Right. So you're coaching firms from what in revenue to what? What would you say is the sweet spot?
I mean, I've done a lot of different things. Kenny, he was just starting a firm.
Right.
Right. So it's really about.
But is it a firm that's in the 0 to 1 million? Is it a firm that's in the 0 to 5?
0 to 5 million, I think, is our sweet spot, which is a pretty large number of firms.
That is, yeah.
What I would say is, as I've done this and coached people for a while, I'm more interested in the ambition level and the get stuff done.
Right.
That's who I've realized I like to work with. I don't really like to work with people who every single month they don't really make any progress, or they're kind of a lot of excuses.
Yeah.
If you're somebody that wants to grow and build, I could work with you. I don't want to work with people that waste my time. Also, we're kind of changing the model. We're moving into some group stuff. We're doing a business plan workshop. The fun thing when you start doing something is you start to see patterns. Everybody has the same problem. Nobody has a business plan. Not everyone has SEO working.
Yeah.
And so
most people, statistically speaking, don't have SEO.
Is that really true? What is the data on that?
Well, if you just think about it, in any given market, you have, and it depends on the market, but I would say 5 to 7 firms that are generating 90% of the cases digitally. So statistically speaking, you're not going to be one of those 5 to 7 firms.
So is the stats that most people aren't even doing SEO?
No, not necessarily.
70%?
No, I just think when it comes to SEO, it is a race. So it's you're either winning or you're not. You're either
you're in or you're out.
Yeah. So when you have 200 firms, 200 PI firms in a market, again, statistically speaking, if we do the math, you're not going to generate, at least not a significant amount from SEO. Because if what I'm saying is true, right? And this is just, I don't have necessarily the data to support it, just based on my observations, right? So
which are, you're on the inside view.
Right. But let's say 5 to 7 firms in a given market generate 90%. Well, that leaves 10% of the pie for the rest of the firms that are doing SEO, right? So when we talk about return on investment, and why are you interviewing me?
Because
why do you always do this?
This is what I do.
This is why I don't have you on.
But no, I think this is valuable because it goes into the consulting I've done. I mean, I've learned so much from people like you and a lot of our other colleagues and friends in, what do we call it? A ecosystem here?
Yeah.
Of all the things we've learned about running law firms.
Right. So anyways, very little left for the rest of the firms. So when I talk about SEO, I'm really talking about being one of those 5 to 7 firms, not necessarily talking about being a firm that's trying to get a piece of what's left. Although we do that too for smaller firms. Like what I'm really passionate about is like dominating the market.
I get you. It's like go big or go home. Like,
I know. Well, let's go back to the coaching. How does it work? What do you charge? Is there a commitment? I think a lot of people probably have those questions.
Yeah. So with the coaching, basically we are doing like an hour to an hour and a half deep dive with people and seeing if it's a fit. We'll do like a consult, and that's, they pay for that.
And how much do they pay?
That is $2,000. They pay for that. We see if it's a fit. And we basically deep dive into all the issues of their business and whether we think, we can help them. And, that has been really a starting point. And then from there, we go ahead and meet once a month. And so it's like an accountability thing. We meet once a month. I have like several people at this conference that we're at that I'm coaching. It's so amazing to see them in person. I see them every month.
Wait, but do you charge $2,000 a month? Is that how it works?
Yeah. And depending like on what we're going to do, we could do add-on stuff as well. A lot of what we're doing right now, I don't want to 100% say what we're doing because we've had such demand. We have so many people interested that we're looking at how we can continue scaling it. One thing that we started doing was letting them have like, okay, time with me. Like, let's say they do 45 minutes with me, and then, they have time with Tracy or Alexa. Because some of the questions they're asking, it's better that they hear it from people on my team. So Alexa is the COO. She is doing, helping people understand how to look at their marketing, how to look at their data, how to look at their intake.
So important.
And sometimes people ask me stuff and I'm like, at this point, guys, like I am not as involved as Alexa is. And so you might want to hear it directly from her. And same thing with Tracy. A lot of people don't have a leadership team. How to install a COO, how to install an operations director, how to install a head of marketing and head of intake.
What's Tracy's title?
She's our current COO, but she's done director of legal.
So what is Alexa?
So Tracy is a COO in the law firm. Okay. Alexa is a COO in the coaching.
Oh, so I got it.
I really tied myself to the train because I basically told Alexa, this is now your business to design and operate the coaching. And so she's now got tons of plans. I was just doing this kind of casually. And now she's like, oh, we're going here with it. And so I'm just on the train now.
Yeah, that's amazing because she's helped you grow your law firm so much.
She's systems oriented. She can build processes, and she kind of will be like, okay, you're doing this now. And I'm like, oh, okay, thank God she did the legwork.
Right. And you're really big on that, but literally delegating to your team, trusting your team, and letting them run with it. And I've seen it where you're like, that's Alexa's decision, right?
I support my team because I want to empower them. I will say something I've really honed in on in the last year. You have to hire, Bill Biggs says this a lot, you have to hire people you can love. If you want to work with people you love, I love to work with my people, my leadership team. It's a pleasure. It's a joy every day. I'm I get to work with these people. They're smart. They're excited. They fit my vibe. We have a great time together. You can't do that if you hire the wrong person.
I think that's why I struggle hiring salespeople so much because
love it.
I don't love most people.
Yeah.
I love Rudy though.
But you love Rudy. And when you
Sabina.
Get to see her and Sabina here, it's a pleasure.
Right. I'm excited to see them.
You're I love this.
Right.
So if I could say, you have to figure out who are your people, who are your tribe, who is the people you would love to come. We have so many friends and colleagues in this industry that we collaborate with. I love to work with them. It's fun. So I think that hiring great people, empowering them, and then building them up, and then learning to trust and let go, which I know you've done a lot of work around. This is not something that happens overnight, but think of somebody that's amazing that you can think of in the industry. Imagine they come work for you and they bring that world-class A-player vibe into your company. What are you going to micromanage them?
Yeah. I think that's why, though, it's so important to have the right fit, someone you actually trust. Because I've had it go both ways where it's I've had employees and I'm just I don't trust that they're doing what I need them to do. So then I feel I have to constantly be on them. And I just don't enjoy that.
Don't you feel that's a cost of doing business? To find great people, you're going to have to, what is that? Kiss a lot of frogs.
Yeah.
or something like
To marry a prince.
Yeah, like you're gonna have to go. You can't just
Yeah.
expect every single one's gonna be you knocked it out of the park.
Right. Now, I love the team members that I know I'm like, and I can like think of them. I'm like, hey, we need to accomplish this. How we do it, it's up to you. Like, go run with it. And
Yeah.
those are the best people that you trust. For me, like, I'm really horrible at processes. It's just not I don't like doing it. I'm not good at it. Every time I create a process, Marino like almost like divorces me and fires me. Like, it's like so bad. And he's like critiquing it. And I'm like, well, if you're so much better, I gave you the like outline, like you make it better. Right? He's like, you didn't put the logo. And I'm like, oh, leave me alone. Like,
it's not your zone of genius.
It's not like, now there are things that I get that I had to do. Right. And I think even like just as any business, like you have to be willing to do the hard work. Right. So like I just hired a friend of mine, Sabina, to do sales, and
love her.
Yeah, she's great. And when she went through the whole training, she was like blown away. She's like, you did this? She's like, holy shit. Like, she just couldn't believe it. And I'm like, yep, it was
a system.
A bitch, but I did it.
Yeah. I mean, people don't want to talk about the unsexy things it takes to run a business. Like,
totally.
I think a lot of people also, because of my social media, don't understand like I'm an operator, and like there is a lot of stuff that was built for years and years that lets us live the way we live now, where the business can run.
Yeah. Again, I'm not the best at doing processes. Marino is.
But you can find someone who can build it.
Yep. I mean, I've done it before. When I have to, I will do it. I don't enjoy it, and I'm not the best. But even myself, there are things that I had to do because there was nobody else that could have done it. We're at a point now where other people are the ones creating the processes,
which is great.
Not necessarily us, right? Like, we have 60 employees now. Like, that's a lot of people.
And there's a lot of people there are people out there that they are thrilled to build a process. They are excited. This is like what they live for, and we want them to work here.
Yeah, please call me.
You know?
I think what's really, really neat about the coaching you do, and I'm not saying this because you're my friend, because you know I'm like super fucking honest.
Yes.
I love that you also, it's not just business coaching, but you're bringing in something you and I are really passionate about.
I already know what you're going to say.
What am I going to say?
Mindset.
Yep.
That's like my shtick, right? That's my thing.
Yeah.
I love that you're in this now. You've been like really doing a lot of mindset stuff too.
I've been doing mindset since I was 18.
Yeah.
Before it was
cool. Now you're like doing it even more.
I mean, I'm doing it at a bigger scale because I have the means to consult with people that I just didn't have before. So before it was all books and very self-taught, or like programs that you would like go and watch videos and things like that, right? Like, one of the programs that I started with was Lacey Phillips to be magnetic.
Oh, I love it.
She's like blown up, but it was even like before she became such a big deal, right? Because she's one of like the manifestors in the manifesting space. This was like way back in the day, right? Now I work with coaches, right?
Yes.
Now, anyways, so I love that you're doing that because
that's really a lot of the key.
Right.
Right. So we talk to somebody and, you know, you really boil it down to they have to make faster decisions. They have to, you know, take some risks.
Yep.
Where does that all come from? It's the mindset. In fact, I've had people recently emailing me just saying, I just want the mindset coaching.
Yeah. So I think what's like really crucial about mindset, and I think this is like the key component that people like forget, because for me, mindset, manifestation are kind of very intertwined, right?
Yes.
Because when you're trying to manifest something, you have to have the right mindset in order to be able to do it. And the key piece that people forget, people think that manifesting or even mindset is just about thinking positive.
No, that's
not how it works. It's when you know that you're going to accomplish something no matter what, and you have that key component, which is called intent. And you have the intent and you're not going to give up, right? And if you have that mindset and it doesn't come from a place of fear, because that's like the worst, right? Like, it really cannot come from a place of fear. And you're like, even if you fuck up, you get back up. Like, you're actually going to be able to accomplish what you're trying to accomplish.
Absolutely.
Right? And you and I, like, you helped me with a presentation that I did recently where I said, like, I forget, but it was something about like, how is it that like law firms will say like, this doesn't work, but it works for their competitor or it works for another from another country. And I'm not another country, another state, but not only am I talking about SEO, I'm talking about everything.
Every
from
part.
intake to
Hiring.
Oh my God, hiring. People are like, there are just no good people out there. I'm like, well, if that's what you believe, that's what the world is going to give you.
You get in life what you expect.
Totally.
And so I'm really cautious if I catch myself of expecting things that are not in alignment with what I want.
Right.
So you have to be really clear on what you want, which is another area that I see a lot of confusion for people. And you don't have this issue. I feel like you're pretty, like, you know what you want.
I know what I want and I know who I am. And I think those two things.
That's the groundwork.
Yeah. I think those two things are really crucial. Now, I can't take credit like for like knowing who I am. I think I've always just kind of been like, this is what you get, like it or don't, you know? But the being really clear, that is something that I've had to like work towards. Right?
When you say being very clear, like let's go further into that, because I think people hear us talking about this stuff and it feels very like woo-woo, right?
Right.
Like being decisive and knowing what you want. I personally have felt like you really do know what you want if you're really tapped into yourself. Yeah. But most people are disconnected from themselves.
Well, it's kind of like going back to having a business plan or even goals, right? Like I'm a huge goal setter. I do think that sometimes goals can be limiting. So I'm very careful with goals. Like the way I structure my goals is like, this is my goal and this is my reach goal.
Okay. So you don't want like it to be capped.
Exactly.
That's good.
That's my only issue with goals. And it was actually Joe Devine that said this to me one day. And I was like, what? Like, I never thought of it that way. Like, what if it is limiting me? So then I started doing what in sales is called a reach goal, right?
Goal, yeah.
And it's not even just for sales. I'm not even talking about that. Just like anything in life, right?
I'm similar to you, but I don't usually set a goal unless it's a reach goal because it needs to kind of like make me uncomfortable. If you're setting a goal that's like very in your comfort zone.
My goal makes me uncomfortable. My reach goal makes me really uncomfortable.
So that's to be clear, like a lot of people, I think they have different standards or definitions of what a goal is. Like what you're describing is you want to see it and be like, I'm not really sure I know how I'm going to do this.
Right. Yeah, I agree. I think a lot of people's goals should just be habits they should create. Like for me, a goal would not be like go to the gym. Like I go to the gym because it's a habit. Like there's no choice.
In the beginning, did you have to make it a goal?
Yes.
So it's like transitions.
Yeah. So it just depends. Like I think there are big goals that you're working towards that are scary. Like starting this podcast was scary.
But no,
like it's whatever.
Okay, so this goes into the 300 project that we're all doing. I saw this thing on social media with Steve Harvey had this like thing.
The list of 300 things.
Yes, we talked about it in Florida.
I haven't done it.
Okay, so you need to do it because
I just think that's too much.
But the purpose of it is to stretch beyond if you had everything. For me, what has happened recently in doing it, because I'm at about 200 and I still am not at 300. Mary Lou was at 401. So
Jesus Christ.
So what it's done for me is if you have all the money, all the things, everything on your list, where do you go next? So the next thing I've gone to is like legacy, like things I would do, people I want to invest in. And so then I started writing other people on my list. Like I want to change these 10 people's lives.
Oh, I love that.
And it's made me more like giving, which then I think it like makes you more of like a conduit, which once you're a conduit, the universe sends to you because you are a conduit.
Totally. I agree. Now, I want to shift gears into something a little bit more personal, which kind of ties into what you do, right? Like we all know that one of the ways that you became so well-known was social media.
Yes.
Right? And you're very good at it and a big proponent of firms using social media. But recently, you've gone to social media and you've gotten really personal and you've talked about your divorce very openly.
I mean, I think like when you have a public brand and you're so open, it's kind of weird to completely leave that elephant like out of the room. It almost feels like that's, you know, when you're sharing so much of your life, there's almost like this sense that you owe it to be honest about all aspects while at the same time being respectful to, you know, the parties involved.
Right.
But I think it would be very confusing if I completely left that out of it wouldn't feel genuine to me.
Right.
Like I'm going through something, I'm going through a hard time. How am I going to not like mention that when I'm on video 12 times a day?
Right. And it's funny because I had someone tell me like, hey, you need to, I don't know if I've told you this actually. I might have, but I don't remember. I actually had someone tell me like, you need to tell Jen to stop oversharing on social media. And I was like, I am not going to do that.
I've had many people reach out to me and say that.
Because it's authentic to her. It feels genuine to her. And it's having such a positive impact because so many people resonate with her and are messaging her and it's creating engagement. And it's kind of like, I feel like you're removing the shame and the stigma that can sometimes be associated with a divorce. Because people think like, oh, I failed. This is a failure.
I think a lot of people don't understand that my social media is also like my art and my self-expression.
Totally.
And it's very therapeutic for me, like sharing my story, documenting my life. Like I do believe like in 100 years, my great-grandchildren are going to see my life because I've documented it so much.
And I mean, you even like showed yourself crying on there.
Well, I'm curious when that person said that to you because I was getting a lot of people messaging me back then. That was like right at the beginning stage. Like I feel like the message has kind of changed in the last 60 to 90 days. Like I think when I was really raw in it, people were like, oh my gosh, I don't know if I can watch this. Like, I feel like I was making people uncomfortable.
It did not make me uncomfortable.
Out there. But you post a lot of things on social media as well, which are like out there. Like you'll post your kids cursing.
I know.
Like people will not do that.
Oh, people unfollow me for that.
And people will shame you for it.
Totally.
Like, Maria, this is off brand.
Well, people shame me for not drinking and people shame me for drinking. Because I've been so honest about like
your confusion around what way to go about it.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is like very bipolar, right? Like,
but it's honest.
Yeah. And like, I think a lot of people go through that.
A lot of people go, okay, I want to like drink, but I don't want to get out of control. And I think it's a conversation that not everyone is honest about.
Right. And for me, it wasn't ever like too many drinks.
But you don't feel well.
Yeah. I mean, I had 2 glasses of wine the day that we got here. I went to bed at 11, woke up at 3:30, couldn't go back to sleep. Like, it's that impact that it has on me that is what bothers me more than anything.
You're fun with or without alcohol.
I mean, I think I'm more fun with.
You are extra fun with alcohol, but you're fun either way. But you're so health conscious that I think it's a constant thing. And I think it sparks a conversation, you know, and I love that you're like, well, just unfollow me.
Oh, I really don't care. I mean, I would care if you unfollowed me.
Yeah,
but like
people that
some random
But
person,
I wouldn't do that.
No. We wouldn't be friends if like you were going to unfollow me because my kids
That's crazy. And I love your kids. And I think
my kids love your kids.
Yeah, our kids are hanging out now. Yeah. So I just think that you have to be genuine and authentic to you and your brand. And then the result of me sharing has been, I feel like people embraced me more. Like people really, like one thing that I really appreciate is people will say to me, you're the same person on social media as in person.
Right.
And that's my goal. I don't want to be like a fake person, you know?
See, I think I'm more sarcastic on social media than I am in real life.
Yeah, you're actually like
I have like
you're a little edgier on social media.
I have a social media persona where I'm like, I just want to bust balls. Like
you do, but you do have that part of your personality, but it's not always at the front.
Right.
In my social media, because I'm sharing like a lot of like different content, I just want people, like I hated when I met this guy. He was really big on social media and he was literally the opposite person when I met him in person. Like that was weird to me.
Yeah.
So, you know, part of it is, hey, I'm going through a hard time. I feel like people had compassion for me at that time when I was really first in the thick of it. People were so supportive. People were like, whatever you need. Like I went through it. I had hundreds of people message me and tell me their divorce story, tell me, you know, this is going to be better in like 6 months. Like people were so willing to like send me love and support at that time because I was willing to be vulnerable. And I learned so much about people. And I think there's a lot of suffering that goes on in silence. And then I had that one post where it was like hundreds of comments and people were like being really supportive. And I had people message me and say, reading those comments was helpful to me.
Yeah. And that's crazy when you think about it, right? Like the impact that you can have with social media. Like sometimes we focus so much on like what's so horrible about social media, like the addiction it creates. I'm guilty of it. But I think that there is a lot of good.
So in the last like 90 days, I think, a few lessons I've learned from my divorce is just, when you have an intuition about something, like you have to take that seriously. Like, I don't want to, be disrespectful of my ex, or he's not a bad person, or, whatever. And I think there's a lot of people that assume, oh my gosh, like a lot of things about people going through a divorce.
Mm-hmm.
What I would say is like, you have to be true to yourself, and you have to like really analyze what brings you joy. Like at this age, I just turned 40. Like we get away from like what makes us happy.
Don't say we. I'm not 40 yet.
A lot of people, I think, you're not 40 yet, but like a lot of people in our
Almost
age
there.
bracket, like late 30s, it's like you lose this like focus on like, I want to be happy, Like life is so short in the sense that I want to be happy.
Dude, someone called me middle-aged the other day. I was really upset.
You look like you're 25.
Doesn't matter. It was my chiropractor, so he knew my age.
He said you're middle-aged.
He's like, yeah, this is what starts to happen when you're middle-aged. I literally almost fired him on the spot.
I can't believe you're even going to a chiropractor with like your trust issues around. Like you let them?
Yeah, I let him adjust my neck. I was in a lot of pain.
You were texting me.
I know.
I will tell you, a chiropractor is like one of the only things that can unpinch a nerve.
Look, it worked. That's all I'm going to say. I don't know how I feel about continuing to.
It does require a lot of trust.
Yeah. I thoroughly vetted him, but he was really also like super annoyed with me because he's like, okay, here's the plan for 8 weeks. You're going to come in twice a week. And I was like, that's not going to happen. And he's like, wait. And he like tried. And I was like, I'm telling you right now.
You're not going to go.
It's not going to happen.
Self-awareness.
He's like, why? Why not? Like, why don't you give up one of your gym days? I was like, that's absolutely not going to happen. He's like, this is your health. He tried everything. And I was like, look, I could lie to you and then you'll never hear from me again.
I almost think he likes that.
Who?
They like to hear, okay, I'm coming back in.
No, he was like initially pretty offended.
I know.
And then like,
but it's the truth.
He came back and he was like, that's great that you have such strong boundaries.
You're like, it's not happening.
I was just like, it's not going to happen.
You say that about a lot of things though.
Yeah.
People will be like, will you go to dinner? Will you go to lunch? You're like, it's not happening today.
Yeah, I'm like, no, I'm going to bed. They're like, you want to take a shot? No, I don't. Come on. It's literally not going to happen.
It's not happening unless the right people are here.
Well, but then it was like, what I'm saying is you can't like, it's very hard for people to like peer pressure me.
No, you cannot be peer. It has to be your idea. Like I'll see the sparkle in your eye.
Where I'm like, let's go out.
Yeah. And I'm like, oh, it's a Maria night. It's a Maria night. She's down. But nobody can like convince you of that.
No.
And you have to have had like a lot of rest the night before.
I have to like today we'll go out.
Oh, yay.
Yeah, because I went to bed at 9 p.m. yesterday.
We went to the gym this morning.
We did.
It was very good. A lot of people will say that to me, like, you're on the road all the time. How do you guys keep up your health? I'm like, what?
I mean, first of all, like you eat pretty healthy. Hey, you want to talk about how you went?
Oh my gosh, I'm changing everything.
Yeah, what's going on? So Jen has been a vegetarian since she was 3, 4?
5.
35
years.
And just the other day, she just decided, what the heck?
Oh my gosh, where were we?
I don't think I was with you.
No, you were at the dinner when it happened.
Oh, I just didn't watch it. Yeah, you ate the scallops.
No, it was the Wagyu beef.
I can't. How did you not vomit? I can barely eat it.
I didn't even know what it was. So it was fine.
How'd it taste?
Great.
So now you're just eating whatever?
Now, last night I had salmon.
Can you do it sober?
Oh, yeah. But I only want to eat the best of the best. So only at 5-star restaurants. Like I wouldn't go to like Chipotle and eat meat.
Good. This morning we were having breakfast and somebody was having sausage. And I'm like, Jen, taste that. And she's like, no, I only want the best.
Yeah, like he was like, that's not really that good. I'm like, no, I'm not going to mess up my streak
And
here.
I don't eat that. So I was like,
well, I haven't really, but I will tell you the craziest thing about this is like everyone at the table. Alexa was there. There was like 10 people there.
I was there and I didn't see it.
You were down at the other end of the table, and like I'm in this mode of like when going through all these life changes, I'm like, maybe I try some new things now. Like I'm just trying things. Because
I was going to make jokes.
when
but I'm
you
gonna
go
keep the
through
jokes to
so
myself.
much change, you're like, why am I so committed to this? Like, maybe I'm wrong.
How do you feel?
Great.
Because also you are anemic.
I was
So am I.
anemic. I was having to get iron infusions.
But do you think this is like going to turn it around? Have you gotten labs or no?
I'm getting them soon, but my trainer for 5 years has been like, you need to incorporate fish. I started eating halibut, salmon.
You're going to gain so much muscle.
I'm so excited because I've been doing all this
I know.
without like the foundation.
That's like my issue with the gym. Like I don't eat enough protein.
You don't.
I know. Like you saw me today. I struggled. I was like, I can't.
Well, both of us are like not foodies and we don't like eating. We just have to eat, which is like our common thing.
I don't have an issue with food, for the record. Like there's
No, but you don't like look forward to eating.
No, I have like sensory issues with it.
Ooh.
Yeah, like I also like, you've never watched me eat. Watch me. Like I move my food around weird. Like it just like, I'm just not a fan of like animal products. I would very, very easily become vegan.
I know. Well, this is what I'm going to tell you. My experience.
No, I'm not going vegan because I've done it before and I literally lose like 20 pounds and I just can't afford
do it. But what I'm saying is from me being vegetarian for all those years to now eating meat, the craziest thing for me is how much chewing is required.
Yeah, but that's good for your jaw.
It's great for your jawline.
Too late now, I guess.
But I'm just saying
for kids.
Like textures of meat, you're like chewing. When you eat vegetarian food, you just eat it.
Broccoli.
I mean, it's gone in a minute.
But like broccoli, you have to chew.
I'm chewing steak and I'm like, this is a lot of work.
Does your mouth hurt?
I actually gave up. Every single time you watch me eat meat, I only eat half of it because I'm like, I'm done.
My mouth hurts.
I'm over it. This is ridiculous. That's like the weirdest thing.
It's funny because like I see that with with Chloe. Chloe doesn't want to chew steak.
Much. Steak's a lot of work.
Yeah. Chloe feels the same way. She would agree with you. She doesn't like
even just like cutting it. And
it is a lot of work.
It's like this is a full thing.
This is like such an exciting episode.
Fun time.
We also had some like exciting stuff planned that we never finished that we need to do.
You mean the podcast?
Yeah.
We have a lot of things coming.
Yeah, we'll do it.
I would say we're about halfway through conference season.
Yeah, I would say we're at the beginning of conference season.
Are we? No, we're in the middle.
This is not the middle, dude. I have like 6 left.
You're so excited about this.
Yeah, very. Okay, I gotta go. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
Anytime. Thank you so much to Jen for everything she shared with us today. If you found this story valuable, please share it with someone you want to see succeed. Subscribe so you never miss an episode. And please leave me a 5-star review. It goes a long way to help others discover the show.